Salam. Salam in my native indigenous language means greetings. I greet unto you in the name of the Most High, Divine Cosmic Intelligence, known as the Father Presence, and the Unconditional Cosmic Divine Love, known as the Divine Mother's Presence. I hope you are doing well, and I thank you for being here with me, sharing this space and moment in time. So if you've watched my previous video, I do have an ongoing thing with the camera lens. So it has become a personal thing now with me and the camera lens. It felt like I was eating up the camera while the camera lens tells me it's just doing its own job. So I have decided to keep it a bit far, maintain my distance. Today, speaking of distance, I want to share the nuances of energetic distance, meaning energetic detachment. Everything is energy in nature, as we are all aware. And so in our everyday lives, we meet people from different walks of life. Within our own circle, within our own community, within the society at large. And what happens in every moment, every personal interaction, in the presence of another, or after the interaction, or even many years down the line. In a sense, everything that we allow ourselves to energetically connect with, we form an energetic connection, an energetic bond, an unseen energetic cord, so to speak. And sometimes, because we are conditioned, human mind is conditioned to view life in each own perspective as per one's own experience. So sometimes, and most times, because accountability is one of the hardest aspect of life, accountability of each own projection of energies onto others. And that is also because it comes from a place of not yet unpacking one's own energetic signature. And so there are more than 8 billion people on this world currently, and everyone carrying their own unique energetic signature, yet not very rooted and grounded in your own essence, in your own energetic essence, take on a lot of perceptions, preconceived notions, layers and layers and layers of other people's energy and perceptions, as well as one's own experiences, view of life. And so there's all of these layers. It's like, I can't even call it cohesive, but it is a full entangled mess of energetic ball of cluster of network, so to speak, that happens in every now moment, in every second. So the point being, everyone we meet, if They have a certain perspective of life stemming from unhealed energetic wounds, unhealed traumas, um, and perspective that is gathered through society and through familial relationships and whatnot. People tend to project one's own energy onto others. And what happens when one projects this energy? There's an invisible energetic cord that gets attached between, we will use two beings, between two persons. And sometimes, and most times, if it's not in the frequency of love and light, these energetic projections, they become layers within one's own energetic body. You know, we term a person that seems very bright and shiny on a particular day. Oh, she seemed very bright and happy, or he seemed very downcasted and heavy. This is all energetic resonance that one each can perceive of each other. And so, unseen by the human eye, energetic attachments of cords, energetic cords are formed. And now, the tricky part is if you are receptive to somebody's projection, sometimes you may confuse it to your own feeling, because you feel the projection of another, and you, because it is not quantified and qualified objectively and even subjectively, but you can feel it, perceive it, so we tend to miscomprehend it as one's own energy. Or if you are keen enough, you can instantly know that this person is not really sending you clean energy, so to speak. So in different cultures, across different spectrum of life, we have different terms for it. One such example is Kali Nazar, evil eye. Kali Nazar in Hindi, evil eye. It just means to say it is an energetic projection that we need to be aware of. So people have been aware of throughout the ages of this. Now, today's topic is more about taking accountability of such energetic projections from others. So I will speak from my own experience. I've been through the ringer of such energetic projections, being a sensitive, empathic person. I have been through the ringer, through the mud of experiencing such projections, sometimes confusing it to be my own, sometimes really feeling deeply disappointed and hurt by such projections that come my way, and sometimes unknowingly piling it up into such a degree of energetic cage, so to speak, that sometimes my own true feelings and my essence gets muddled in this state of beingness when you are absorbing everybody's energetic frequency. And so today I wish to elaborate on how we as an individual, we can take accountability the more you rise up in your frequency. In the sense, the more you release and let go of your own, through your own healing journey. We are all on a healing journey. And so as we move towards this particular realm of advancement of our energetic bodies, the more we let go and release baggages, the more we have a clearer understanding of our own true essence, the lighter we become in frequency, and the more you become perceptive of other people's energy, the more you're able to distinguish between your energy and another's projection. And as you do so, your psychic intuitive knowing, this capacity of the inner eye, the true eye, the senses are more sharpened, and therefore you are able to perceive even at a distance, because energy does not know time and space, so to speak. So if there's a person from across the pond, from across another country, in that instant, in that moment, if you are in your mindful state of beingness, in the stillness, in the present moment, and if it is something that your soul, your higher soul, requires you to perceive so you can be able to decipher it, learn the lesson from it, perhaps, or overcome a certain situation, you will perceive it if you are open and receptive to it. No matter the country, the time and distance, no matter the perceived boundaries of any structure. So speaking of which, as I started clearing my energy, as I started becoming more aware of it, and I was upon my healing journey, I started perceiving people's projections, started distinguishing it more, to the point where I would literally hear people's feel and hear people's projections, perceived notions. So I questioned such incoming information, yet if it is meant for you to realize, understand, then there will always be confirmations from the universe. And so therefore I would receive confirmations even right on the spot of that particular, for example, that particular person that would be speaking of me or wishing ill will upon me or thinking of such perhaps destructive thoughts. And with all the confirmations that I would receive, Spirit has a way of confirming things for us, and it is a very personal journey. So you will know your own way of comprehending the signs and synchronicities, which I will not elaborate for this point of discussion. So whenever I would receive this, there's either for me to able to realize myself in that situation or from that relationship to protect myself, to have better boundaries, or to be able to make decisions of certain situations in regards to a person, place, or thing. But there came a point of time when I started hearing, knowing, feeling such projections, and I questioned, Holy Spirit, why am I hearing this? If I'm protecting my own energetic field, why am I hearing this? And the answer was for me to expand my heart more, to be able to really consciously expand my heart more to be able to love, especially those people who are projecting those ill wishes upon me more. The lesson in it was for me to take it as an alchemical process of expanding my heart more, that energy that was incoming, to transmute it into a higher capacity of increasing my heart space into having compassion and a comprehension of the other person's journey. And this is a process, because sometimes the ego wants to chime in and say, this is, sometimes the ego will say, oh my goodness, the son of a, son of a, we would wish to retaliate energetically, or we would even wish, for example, it's okay, let karma do its thing. Or, this person will get what she deserves. All that train of thoughts, that is the ego. Stay with me. I am trying to piece this subconscious activity of the mind, the underworld. Speaking of underworld, a couple of years ago, I used this term underworld, of being in the space of underworld, and some people took it as me literally being connected to the literal worldly underworld mafia connections, networking, or the dark arts, whatnot. And it was only much later that I realized that the projection of other people's perception, it is also very subjective to conscious awareness of even terms. So anyways, I digress. So the subconscious mind can come in different forms of layers, and if we pay close attention, even hoping that karma hits them, or even wishing that one day they will learn their lesson, or the reaction of the anger, or all such kind of emotional reactions onto another, is now a reflection, and also from your own side a projection back onto that person. And so therefore the energetic cord that has come in, if you're going to retaliate it back, then the bond gets stronger. In a sense, there's another added layer. In the sense, you yourself are allowing yourself to get into that entanglement, the quantum entanglement of the cluster mess of projection within a projection. And so if you look at the Tao concept of living, that Taoism, Tao speaks of being in the center, neither to the left nor to the right, of being centered, in a sense, being completely detached from the energies. And I'm using this particular state of beingness that I'm bringing in Tao to shed light into how we would allow ourselves to remain detached, how we can allow ourselves to remain detached in such circumstances. And this can be very subliminal in nature, and therefore we just have to be very aware so that we are not allowing ourselves to be entangled more. Jesus the Christ, beloved Christ, spoke of loving your enemy. And he understood the cosmic law of karma, of as you sow, so shall you reap, in such an in-depth way that he was able to say it in practical parables whereby people would be able to at least grasp it, because human consciousness, as per the different evolution of humanity's collective consciousness, back in the day 2000 years ago, we are speaking of him speaking to people, elaborating cosmic law of energy, of beingness. And so when we speak of karma itself, this is where we have to remain detached. Be a silent observer. I speak of my own experience in the sense that it was brought to my attention for certain situations for me to expand my heart more, in the sense that it brought that perspective of that they must be suffering in whichever circumstance and situations for them to be able to really project it outwards unto me. So then I have greater compassion for them, more compassion for them, to love them even more. Yet at the same time, it has been unfortunate and fortunate for me to witness people that I've encountered facing situations and circumstances of the ill will that they themselves have wished upon me. So now the question was, why am I being a witness to it? Well, so that because to witness another person suffering of the same consequences they wished upon you is we never wish another to suffer. So when we see it, when we witness it, it can be heartbreaking from the human perspective. But if we are looking at it from a higher perspective, a bird's eye view, sometimes we witness this so that we take it as a lesson. And the lesson is that what we wish upon another, when we charge it with emotions and feelings upon another, it comes back in boomerang. It's a boomerang effect. And so the universe has a way of bringing things into a person's experience for growth, for lesson. And so if another person is suffering and projecting it, they receive that certain circumstance in similar situations. If they are perceptive, if they are mindful, they are able to learn from it and grow from it. But to having to witness it is so that I can be able to bring this message. So that is the fortunate part of witnessing it. But the unfortunate part of witnessing it is that I have to see it, feel it, have my heart broken over that. But then if we have risen above, if we continue to rise above, if every lesson, every pain, every growth that every person that goes through, we understand it's for a higher, bigger perspective. And so in that space, we find peace, knowing that that particular situation will help another person to elevate upon one's own personal journey, one's own soul growth. And so there is a common term that goes on, especially in the spiritual community, that return to sender, return to sender, return to sender. Well, I personally do not advocate it, because when you are returning something to center, you are placing your intention as well as your emotion of a particular feeling for another person that may have projected upon you. So if you are in that position where you are the innocent, you are the innocent party, and you feel another person sending you negative energies, negative psychic attacks, whatnot, but you are participating in saying it, feeling it, that return to center, I return this energy to center, or you are still allowing yourselves to get quantum entangled in that cluster of layers. And so the purpose of this discussion is that our journey of every experience is for us to shed, to become lighter, to be able to really tap in more and more into our authentic self. And so the goal is to remain detached of the human experience, but still be able to learn from it, take the lessons from it, and move on. And so the analogy I want to bring in is, I lived a couple of years in Mumbai during my professional tenure of jobs, and the one thing, the metaphysical lesson, the blessing from that particular journey living in that city was, the city was filled with high-rise building, being a metropolitan, cosmopolitan commercial hub of the country of India. And the high-rise buildings and the amount of traffic, there was no getting away from the noise. And so what I realized, the lesson was, when you elevate to a higher ground, guess what? The noise got louder. So if you have been in high-rise buildings, you would have noticed, you would have observed that the more higher you rise up onto the stories, the 4th story, the 5th story, the 6th, 10th floor, the noise of the for example, the honking of the car, or the sound that is generated at the ground level, it's more sharper and it's more piercing to your senses. And the lesson from it is, as you rise higher, you will be able to perceive the noise more, you will be able to perceive the noise, the messiness of the environment more. But then guess what? You just have to keep rising higher, because by the time you reach the 20th and the 30th floor, then you are so elevated that this noise has somehow gotten filtered, and you are in that elevated state of stillness. So as we rise higher up in consciousness, the lesson is that we allow ourselves to be more and more and more detached from the noise of other people's unhealed energies. Everyone is on a journey, learning. Everyone is trying their best. And so we just have to have greater compassion for another's journey. And if you do wish to send back energy, send them love. Send them the highest frequency of love and light. Wish them well.